Okay, I am. Well, because, so I show up as a tiny, tiny, tiny little non intrusive face. I hope that's how I show up for everybody. Because otherwise, it would be irritating, I think. All right, we'll try it. Let's see. So week 6, here we go. We're already on Wednesday. Oh man, 6 weeks we've been doing this. It's amazing to me. Okay. Here's what we have to do this week. We're shooting for a discussion post and writing M and a rough draft. But let me make sure, I'll have to take a look at that just to make sure. Let's look at the discussion post. So here's the discussion post. So last week we were trying to work on getting primary sources or making a primary source, right? So basically all the discussion board is posting whatever it is you've decided to do. Okay, week 6. So either you're doing one of these two things. So either you found a primary source and you're going to use it, and so you're going to, in a discussion post, just give the APA citation of what it is, give a summary of what it is. Essentially, this is everything from last week's writing, I believe. L. So if you did last week's writing L, or have since then done it, that's basically all you're doing. You're transferring it to this discussion post. So you're going to either present, create a thread. So you go to online discussion world, see if it lets me do my creating thread business and tells me what to do. It does. So I'm either just going to post my primary source. It means here's the APA for it, here's a summary of it, here's how it's going to help me show about the changing narrative, and here's how it might have something to do with plot or character or setting or values. So the discussion board, that's the first thing. If you found a primary source, you're going to use it, you just present it. This is so also I can look at them and decide and make sure they are, first of all, a primary source, and then I can also help you eventually with how to use it, like how to help connect it to the changing narrative. So one of the things that happened with the last essay, some people, I don't know, it was about maybe, half and half. So the last essay is supposed to be just about the traditional narrative. Okay? Like you're establishing what it is, you're explaining the three things, meaning how it came to be, what elements there are, and then how it spread. That's all you're focusing on. And then now we're sort of shifting to the idea of the changing narrative. So how has that narrative that you set up started to change or been changing or whichever? And so I had a few people who basically wrote the changing one, right? You wrote the essay about how everything's changing. Okay, so that may work for this next essay, but then that means you still need to do the other part. So you need to have basically two essays, right? One is about this traditional narrative, and one is about the changing narrative. And I can go back and find out who that was. There's a few people, not just one or two, but a few who did this, so I can talk to them. So the idea is that your primary source that you're picking, right, that you're going to figure out, is going to be used to help you talk about the changing narrative. So the discussion board is you're either presenting your primary source or you decided to do a survey or conduct an interview and you're going to present that. Here are the questions I came up with, and here are the results, and you're basically doing the same thing. You're presenting the results, you're summarizing what they are, you're explaining how it'll help you talk about changing narrative, you're explaining some connection to story, narrative, plot, character, setting, values. So let me but I'm supposed to be on. Anyway, okay, so it takes people right there. Excellent. So that's what the discussion post is. You're basically presenting what you got, right? So you can take, if you did writing L, just go back to writing L, copy, paste whatever you have, basically. That will be it. I just want to see it gives me a way to look at everybody's primary sources really quickly, make sure they're primary sources. Okay. Okay, this week, for writing M, the idea is that you have your primary source, whatever it is, you found it or you made it, and you're going to figure out and create three. So I'm saying you're giving three examples of you basically using the information in your essay, right? So three examples of it, like how you're going to use it for the next essay. So you're looking at your material, you're looking at your whatever data you gathered, or you're looking at the actual primary source you have, and you're trying to think right now how you might be able to use it, and then you're basically just writing like a citation, or not a citation, but you're writing like a 3-sentence integration. Remember when I had people do this with their, like with a quote from an article, and I'm like, okay, make sure you set up the quote, give the quote, and then follow up with a sentence. That's basically what you're going to do. So from your primary source, you're going to extract three things. Could be 3 quotes, could be just could be data, and then you're going to basically create these little, setups, present, and explanation. That's writing M. I'm going to do mine as well. The essay. So the final draft of essay number 4 is the final exam or whatever. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. So right now, my schedule is thinking, or at least I'm under the impression that we have this week, we have next week, and then classes end on Friday the 1st. So Friday the 1st is technically our last class. So I'll probably also for Friday, because I wanted to then explain and try to talk about this essay 4, basically. Yeah, we'll just stick with, okay. So essay 4 is essentially talking about the changing narrative. Okay, that's what your essay 4 is going to be. Your rough draft of essay 4 especially. For your final draft, the thing you turn in as the final project or final exam or whatever, I'm going to have you basically put the last essay and this essay together, right? So you're going to create a single sort of comprehensive essay that first talks about the traditional narrative and then moves into talking about the changing narrative. But what I wanted people to do was focus completely on one, focus completely on the second one, and then put them together. Otherwise, you end up with sort of a very sort of superficial summary of something. Someone's like, yeah, this is traditional and this is changing, and it's 3 pages long. So instead, I wanted everybody to put effort into, okay, just do the traditional narrative and explain it as much as I can. And then now okay, so right now, I'm going to get some things going. But right now, what I would want people to be doing, or hopefully you can be doing, is getting the discussion post done, right? Which means you're presenting your primary source. If you did writing L, you can just go to your writing L, copy, paste it, post it. So that's what that's all about. And then I'm going to do some examples of what writing M should look like, meaning here's me using my information from my primary source in this essay, and then I want to give a brief outline of what this essay supposed to look like. Since we missed Monday, I may have to extend the rough draft date. That's what I'm thinking about. That's why I was looking at the time, like how much time we have left, because we might be able to extend the rough draft. If anybody has a vote on that, whether that would be helpful or not. Like, but we're talking like I would extend it instead of due Sunday. It probably could be due on a Wednesday. The rough draft of this essay. I feel like we missed something, right? So yeah. So if you have votes, I got one vote. And if it helps, I know if people must be getting like an out. Yeah. Here's what I might do. So instead of the draft, what I'll want is basically just a sketch outline. That's what we could make do. Some sort of outline project thing do, like by Sunday, then I could look over at something simple, and then the rough draft could be due next week. Well, the other thing I was going to say is if people have not found primary sources yet, um, I could help you do that if you wanted to tell me sort of what so you're trying to find primary sources that help you show, right, the changing narrative, right? So I've done my traditional narrative about higher education, and this is what it used to be. Now I need to find information about how it's changing. So my original thing is, right, in America, you have to go to college to be successful, and here's all that stuff. And now I'm going to sort of be like, all right, here's how the things have changed. Um, like jobs of the future are different, but I need to find primary sources for that. So I'm looking for that on. All right, take a look. Yes. Yes, that's good. Can you? Yeah, my mic's on. Yep. So that's a mental health reform. So that's um, it's a law. I'm trying to look. So it looks like it's in a bill. The thing is, Yummy, you're going to want to make sure that if you're using it, you want to use the actual text from the actual law. So what I'm looking at right now, I can show you. It looks like it's a sort of summary of it, right? And so it's explaining it, which is good because then it helps you understand it. It's just that you want to make sure, if you can, to find the actual language of it. So let me see if it's, I don't know if it's connected to this or not.
Should I just like type in HR?
Yeah, if you can, yeah, that's what I was just thinking. If you could find, is this an initial big deal thing? Mental Health Parity and Addiction Equity Act. So it's basically like we were talking about. So it's trying to make, so it's a law intending to make mental health equal with physical health as far as insurance companies and all that stuff. And so then your thing, HR, or whatever it was, is sort of an addition to that. So I don't know if you need to use. So yeah, this is the actual text of it. I can send you. So what you're doing is you're basically, at least it's in these sentences, you're just, in your essay, what you would end up trying to do is you would say, okay, in HR 34, Section 2001, Subtitle B. Oh man, this must be great. Anyway, and then you can quote what it says, and then you can go off and talk about that, because there's tons of things in here, and not all of them are going to be super like you don't really need to know about pediatric research, right? So it does a ton of different things. You just want to find the one um, that has to do with you or mental health mostly. Hold on, I'm gonna. So I just do control find and just find everywhere where it says mental health. So I can go to the places where. Yeah, that's good. Do you want this link?
Yes.
See if this can get you straight to there.